Hello, we are back with another videocast of the Altice International Innovation Award 2023, and it's going to be my pleasure to speak with the three finalists of the Inclui category. That means inclusion, and this is a category that's sponsored by the Altice Foundation. This category will recognize inclusive projects aimed at providing information and communication technologies and accessibility solutions for the benefit of citizens, particularly those with special needs. First of all, gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to have you all here with me. I'm going to introduce all of you and your fantastic projects. Of course, I'm sure you're excited about this award, a prize of 20,000 euros up for grabs, and you'll find out on the 21st of November if you're the lucky winner. Actually, it's not about luck, is it? It's about the value of your projects. With no particular order, I'll introduce all of you, starting with Afonso Cunha, founder of Zoomguide, connecting from Aveiro today. And he runs an online platform and app that connects museums and cultural and historical centers with their visitors. So welcome, Afonso. Great to have you. Also with us, Verde, co-founder of Mobiise. Is that how I should say it?
Yes, Mobiise.
Mobiise. Okay, let's get that right first. Mobiise, joining us from Viana do Castelo. He's got a startup that creates a mobile application that calculates most accessible routes based on the user's disability. Last but definitely not least, joining us from Romania, Bucharest to be precise, Cornel Amariei. I hope I said that kind of right. CEO of Lumen, and your startup creates glasses which empower the blind to live a better life. So first of all, and I do mean this, congratulations for developing these projects. They all have an incredible potential to helping society as a whole. My first question has got to be, give us a little bit of an introduction into what your startups are all about and why they matter. And I guess I'll start with Cornel, because you were the last one I introduced.
Sure, thank you so much. So maybe a 1-minute pitch. First of all, I was born in a family where both of my parents and my sister have disabilities. And growing up in such a family, I understood how much technology can help, but how little technology exists. So many years later, 3 years ago, I founded this company with the purpose of helping people. We started the problem. We said that there are 14 million blind people, but if you look at the most used solution for them, the guide dog, there are only 28,000 guide dogs. And what we determined is that we can actually use technology to create a system which replicates what a guide dog does for the other 39,980,000 blind people around the world which cannot have a guide dog. So that's what we do. We created the first scalable guide dog in the form of glasses.
Now, I imagine those are not the glasses that you're wearing now.
No, they're not.
So,
no, they're not.
Of course. And I'll ask you to explain to us how they work in just a little bit. But Afonso, over to you. A quick intro on your project.
Thank you. So Zoomguide exists to make the discovery of cities and cultural heritage sites more interactive and accessible to all. Our technology basically allows anyone to use their smartphone camera to recognize the space and objects around and instantly receive multimedia content about it. We do this through a highly scalable platform that allows organizations like municipalities, museums, and tour operators to provide our technology at the locations they manage, so they can deliver a more interactive and inclusive experience to their customers.
So they feed you the information and you utilize it in your app to share it with the user, correct?
Exactly. We have a content development system we provide to these partnering organizations that they use to create the experiences, and then we feed the content they create through the content development system to their key users, to their audiences.
Gotcha. David, over to you.
Hello, thank you for the invitation and thank you for having me. So Mobiise is an abbreviation for Smart, Inclusive and Sustainable Mobility. This project was born from a collaboration between two polytechnic institutes, the Viana do Castelo and Bragança, from each one research centers, CEDRI and AditLab. So our team is composed by me, David Verde, and also by my colleague Tania Silva, which is also co-founder and developer of the solution. And our project started as a graduation project in which it was stated to us that citizens with reduced mobility had difficulty to move independently through the historic center of Viana do Castelo city. we participated in the development and launch of Viana Mais Acessível application, which now gives origin to Mobiise. Mobiise is a solution in the form of a mobile application that aims to recommend accessible and personalized routes, taking into account the user's specific mobility constraints as well as their desired criteria, such as, for example, route suitability, time, minimal incline or slope, among other criteria.
Okay, I've got questions. I'll get to those in a minute. I'm going to go back to Cornel. First of all, how do these glasses actually work? What technology is applied here? And how are you specifically improving the lives of blind people with this gadget?
Sure. Let me actually start with what you do. And I'm going to give you an analogy. If you have a guide dog, you can ask a guide dog to take you to the door, take you to an empty seat, or if they really know the route, you can ask a guide dog to take you back home. And the guide dog will do this by pulling your hand, avoiding you from obstacles, keeping you on the sidewalk. That's what the guide dog does. It guides you by pulling your hand. You can ask exactly the same commands to the Lumen glasses, and they will do the same with one major difference. If a guide dog guides you by pulling your hand, we guide you by pulling your head. So we have this patented haptic interface which just sits here and it just feels like something is holding your forehead and is pulling you in the direction you have to go. We were the first in the world to create this, and we patented it. It's patented worldwide. It's immensely intuitive. We have validated this with actually more than 300 blind individuals across multiple countries. It does what a guide dog does, but even more intuitively and without using any hands. Now, from a technological standpoint, we were able to take self-driving technology and to scale it down to something you can wear. This is by far the most advanced assistive technology in the world, which is now in a clinical investigation. What we provide for the blind people or for people with a severe loss of sight is independence and freedom of travel, and we bring mobility to them. We have a core belief that better mobility for the blind will result in better education, better employment, and better social life. And in all three of them, we have particular use cases with the glasses in which we make more jobs accessible, we make more education accessible, and we make some social activities accessible which were never before possible for a blind person.
What's been the feedback that you've received from the people who have utilized these glasses, and how were you able to adjust what wasn't working without putting their lives and their well-being at risk?
Sure. I want to quote one of the feedback, which I absolutely love, and it's actually 2 years old already in a 3-year company. We had this feedback 2 years ago. One blind person, the vice president of our National Blind Association, said, "I expected something like this to exist, but not during our lifetime." That's the positive one, and it's very, very, it's very cheerful and very happy for us to hear something like this, but it's not helping us improve the product. So what we do in order for the proper design and the feedback and everything, we do proper clinical investigations according to the international regulations. So ISO 14155. We're a medtech startup, so we do use medical clinical investigation in order to make sure that what we do, of course, is safe, and that we can test in a safe environment, we can get that feedback. And it's a tremendous amount of feedback which we got, ranging from anything, ranging from the moment you get the box of our product up to the moment you put it on the head for the first time, and feature by feature, we explored everything, how we can make it more accessible. To design something for people which don't have sight is very difficult because it's very hard to understand. It's very hard to have the empathy of how it is to have the disability. Very, very hard. But we do our best, we blindfold ourselves for hours, and we take so many blind people to help us in this process to make sure that what we design empowers people to have a better life.
Cool. David, I'm going to go back to you because I'm curious to find out how the development process worked and how you were able to gather the information that you needed to assist people with disabilities, because I'm guessing that some of this information, if not much of it, was not available. You had to get it from somewhere. You mentioned inclination, you mentioned maybe other accesses which were just not marked, they were not signaled. So how did you work through this?
Yes, exactly. Most of this information does not exist for most of the cities. There are cities that start to do this mapping, to do these classifications. For example, Viana do Castelo started to do that, and we work with the Viana do Castelo City Council to do this classification. Also, with a collaboration of several social institutions, like, for example, ACAPO and AMA, IRIS, that are institutions that work daily with patients that have, for example, visual impaired, or that are in a wheelchair, or that have autism spectrum disorder. And this collaboration of all of us together enabled us to create a very good classification that suits the objective of our solution. Yes, this will have to be done gradually for each city that we will implement the application on. But it is possible to do. Not much difficult, but and possible.
Okay. Afonso, when it comes to the impact that you aim to create within the users of your application, what specifically are you aiming for? What's your greater goal here for greater good?
Our main goal is to make the discovery of cities and cultural heritage sites more easy, more interactive, and accessible to all. So imagine you're in a museum and you want to know more about a painting or a sculpture or anything really. Most people will never have the chance to discover the true story behind what you're seeing unless you have the chance to have the museum curator or a very knowledgeable guide helping you. So what we do with Zoomguide is to provide the tools to the museum to then provide this information to everyone. And when I mean everyone, I mean that we're not addressing a specific group. For example, we're not addressing blind or mentally impaired people, but we're trying to provide modules within our platform that allow someone without disabilities to access the information, as well as someone who has some visual impairment, hearing impairment, or is a child, for example.
I had a question for all of you, which is really what were the biggest challenges that you faced throughout the process? So were they resources? Were they time? Were they technology? What was the toughest to beat as you were working through the project and the startup?
Okay, so one significant challenge we face is ensuring we're building a company that is financially sustainable and delivers positive impact for people with special needs at the same time. The truth is that we find it hard to be financially sustainable when developing a solution for a very small audience that doesn't have a very high purchasing power. For example, visually impaired people. We've had discussions with ACAPO, an organization for blind people in Portugal, and we struggle to find reasons to have this financial stability coming from a product tailored to this specific audience. So instead, what we're focusing on is having a more generic solution that can replace existing solutions in the market, like audio guides, custom apps that are purchased by municipalities to share information about touristic attractions, and includes accessibility modules within these apps. So this way we have a path to financial profitability and financial stability. And at the same time, we can use this revenue to keep investing in improving the accessibility of our platform for all user audiences, kids, people with hearing impairment, visual impairment, and people also without disabilities.
Understood. What about you, David? What were the main challenges?
Okay, despite the fact that our project is in an early stage, we already faced multiple challenges. I would like to pinpoint two or specify two of them. The first one was knowing how to perfectly classify and understand the right criteria of the streets, like I was referring before, because a street can be suitable for a wheelchair user, but a must avoid for a person with autism spectrum disorder. And this challenge was overcome by establishing multiple contacts with and work together with the social organizations and also with the Viana do Castelo City Council to create a very good classification, a very final good classification. Another challenge was to adapt the application according to the needs of each user group, because we want to not specify, okay, these are visually impaired, these are wheelchair users, these are spectrum disorder autism persons. We want to englobe them, also to not label them. So several usability tests with real users were necessary to improve the project. And it was difficult to reconcile at the beginning with the organizations and with the Viana do Castelo City Council and with the final users, and also with the time that we had to develop the project. There's still a lot to do and to improve, but with the knowledge that we've been acquiring through the development of the project, we know exactly what our goals are and how to
What about you, Cornel?
So many. I'm going to give you a more abstract one, and I'm going to give you a more detailed one. And I think quite all three of us will kind of find ourselves in the first one. To build a startup is very hard. Any rational person would quit. It's very hard. And when I'm saying startup, I mean like, a simple app or a service or something like that. But then to build something for people with disabilities, it's 10 times harder. To build something which also has hardware, like in our case, 10 times harder. To build something which is medtech, 10 times harder. And in my case, to build something in Romania, again, 10 times harder. In our case, all of them were combined. So statistically, it makes almost no sense why any rational person would start this. Well, of course, I'm not a rational person, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this. So that would be an abstract answer. The more detailed answer, for us, it has been several. First of all, the simple one is the technological challenge. We don't have self-driving cars. We barely have self-driving cars. And those have like 50 kilograms to put sensors, to put computers, to put batteries. We had 700, 800 grams to do all of that. So to scale down everything was a massive engineering challenge, which was only possible because of great partnerships. For example, our partnership with NVIDIA, which allowed us to have hardware earlier than its releases in order to test everything. That was the technical one. Then, of course, raising capital for a deep tech startup, for the first deep tech startup in my country, was definitely difficult. And it was difficult at the beginning. And luckily, at some point, for example, we have funding from the European Innovation Council, with publicly known almost 10 million euros, which we have won from them. But it was a very long road together, a very, very long road. And it's, unfortunately, there are trends in startups. So years ago, it was blockchain. Luckily, that one passed. Now it's generative AI. I really hope, and it's my dream, that the next trend in startup funding is impact, because there's so much good that has to be made, so many problems. And I really hope for all three of us and for all the other hundreds and thousands, hopefully, which want to create social impact endeavors, that they will have an easier road than the three of us had.
Yeah, and I guess that's why it's so important that categories like this exist as well, right? Because they are motivating people as well to invest in this area. And I think that's absolutely key. We talked a little bit about challenges. That meant that certainly, obviously, you weren't overcoming these challenges on your own. Who were the most important people, supporters, colleagues that enabled you to keep overcoming these difficulties that you were facing? Cornel, I'll stay with you.
Well, I have a ton of thanks to give to my partner, because she's still supporting me after so many years and everything. But of course, getting back to the team, I mean, nothing of what we accomplished wouldn't have been possible with the amazing people which we have around us. And once you have a small team of amazing people, it kind of gets addictive to others, and it kind of gets like a good disease which brings more in. And now we're lucky to have a large team which is working on this. So absolutely amazing people. We started 7 people, I think, at the beginning, and now we're almost 60. And they're some of the most amazing people I met in my life. For example, just one example I can give. One of our testing manager, he was actually legally blind for 21 years of his life. But luckily enough, he had a particular condition for which he got a surgery at 21, which partially recovered his vision. He's a university professor, and now his job is here at our company. He's leading testing with the blind. He went through blind school. He is teaching disability studies. So it's just one of the amazing stories which we have in the company. And there are many more. And, I'm so blessed to work with the people I work with.
Afonso, obviously, it's cheesy, but it's true. Teamwork makes the dream work. So how did your dream come true around working with colleagues and other people who were supporting you?
Well, with the help of a lot of people, trying to make Zoomguide a reality. So it starts with the team, but also the organizations that supported us and people that supported us from the beginning. So I can remember organizations like the municipality of Aveiro, which allowed us to test our solution in their museums, in the city, and for example, invested in our solution for navigation for blind people in museums. And even random people that we met on the street while testing the solution. For example, we were at Caixa Sodré transportation terminal, and while we were implementing our solution there, and we met blind people while we were there and asked them to test the solution. We had three persons joining us some weeks later to test the solution on site and provide us feedback about it. So there's incubators, accelerators, a lot of people we can thank, but even random people we casually meet on the streets, we have to thank them because their feedback was very, very helpful.
Great story. David, what about on your side?
I would like to start by the Viana do Castelo Municipal Council because our collaboration has been crucial due to the exchange of information and data regarding the city's accessibility. We also have the support and collaboration of Polytechnic Institutes of Bragança and Viana do Castelo, the research centers CEDRI and ADIT Lab, and furthermore, our collaboration with the social organizations and institutions, and also their patients that we do the usability tests with, that these organizations are dedicated to assisting these individuals with special needs. And these include institutions like ACAP, IRIJAMA, APBCDM, and APCVC, I think I'm saying it right, whose daily efforts align closely with our project mission. So I would like to extend a thanks to all of these entities for their invaluable support and collaboration in making our project. As
far as implementation and scalability, David, what are you thinking for your app and your service?
After a successful consolidation of the initial version of our application, the solution will be easily scalable to any city. Our dynamic approach enables us to receive data from diverse sources in different kinds of formats. The project holds the potential for scaling not only across all Portugal, but also in an international level. But this international expansion is part of our strategic vision, but will be prioritized first a national consolidation. To amplify the impact of the Mobiise solution, our future plans include a substantial investment in diverse marketing campaigns targeting the end users so that the app can be used and help more people. Additionally, we aim to increase visibility through publicity and establishing direct contacts and connections with key stakeholders such as SIMs, municipal councils, and
How will it work?
Companies.
Because obviously you've been working with Viana do Castelo. How will it work when you start going to bigger metropolitan areas? I mean, are you going to need big numbers of people to be able to log all of the streets, all of the roads? How are you going to do that?
We are hoping that the social institutions of those cities help us. We already know we are making contacts with some councils, and we know that some of them are willing to help us already. But we hope to get help from all of the institutions, all of the users, our target users, or at least some of them, so we can understand what their real needs are in that specific city. And also from the city councils, of course, because they can also have some work done in this field, or they can have, even if not all of the classification, maybe about slope or maybe about the street length or width. Anything will help.
Afonso, what sets your app? What sets Zoomguide apart from the competition?
So there's several distinguishing attributes that we have compared to competitors. If we focus on competitors on the accessibility field, is our broader focus. So we're not targeting a specific group, but instead providing a platform that allows you to target several groups, including people without accessibility needs. But on a more technical level. So our technology uses any smartphone camera to recognize the space around you with an accuracy over 99%. It also doesn't require you to install a mobile app as you use it. So it's all web-based. This means that people in 10 seconds, they can start recognizing what's around them. Also, we provide this content development system for professionals that allows them to create digital experiences much faster and much cheaper than before. For example, we've been live in a museum in less than 48 hours. And this is with people that are not technical experienced. For example, a museum curator can create a digital experience that is accessible to their audience in a very short amount of time. These are just some examples of our differentiating aspects.
Okay, that makes sense. Cornel, what do you think winning this award will do for your project, the technology? Why did you? It's actually curious that you decided to participate in a competition in Portugal, right? Because you really don't have any visible connections to Portugal. So how did that happen?
Sure. So we do actually have some connections to Portugal. So just a few months ago, we did a kind of considerable testing in Lisbon with several blind individuals. So we had like a proper clinical investigation in Lisbon. And with our partners from the European Institute of Technology, specifically the Urban Mobility, EIT Urban Mobility to give the proper name, we have organized a testing session in Lisbon. That's where we found out about everything. That's where we found out about this competition as well.
Okay.
And that's how we ended up applying, because we were in Lisbon when we found out about the competition. The reason why we are here in this discussion, everything, is because we need and we want people, especially people with visual disability, to know that the solutions for them are coming. We want to know that there are some crazy people somewhere in the world building something which will make the mobility part of their life a little better. And there are so many people around the world which we can help. And through actions such as this one, those people will find out about us. And of course, I'm coming from a family of multiple disabilities, so not only blindness, but particularly for the work that we do. Of course, I would want a solution for people with visual impairment. I would want a solution for people with visual impairment to win the competition, so that people with visual impairment know that this is an important topic and that people are working towards helping them.
David and Afonso, obviously you're in Portugal, so it's easier to find out about these initiatives, which is a fantastic one, this one by Altice. What do you hope to accomplish if you manage to win the prize? I'll start with David.
Okay, first of all, participating in this award provides us with a rigorous verification and also validation of our idea. It allows us to showcase the viability and innovation behind our project to a wider audience. The recognition from this prestigious award also promotes confidence in potential users and stakeholders. And it goes beyond this incrementation of value. Of course, this exposure is priceless for advertising our solution and gather interest from key users and collaborators. Finally, I will just state that we are in a very early stage and we have very limited resources. And winning this award will be, of course, a game changer for us. The prize will be fully invested in acquiring necessary materials, and more important, even expanding our team. That is a thing that we want a lot, is expanding our team to have more persons and creating a very good environment where we all can progress and accelerate the growth and impact of our project. Yes.
Well, I think it's similar to my fellow co-founders here. Media exposure, great for us to advertise our products directly to end users, but also to the business we sell to. The monetary prize is also a very good help for any recent startup without funding. So that would definitely help us scale our solution and be present in more locations than we are today. And finally, establishing connections with Altice would also be valuable for us, because we see the potential of bundling our platform with some services that Altice provides to cities. So having these connections is something that we value.
Okay, definitely a good perspective. I wanted to thank Afonso, David, and Cornel for this conversation. Congratulate you once more for developing these solutions, which could definitely help the lives of many people in our society. Good luck. Okay, gentlemen, not long to go now before you find out. So good luck and continued success in your endeavors.
Thank you.
So that brings the third episode of these videocasts of the Altice International Innovation Award 2023 to an end. Again, 3 amazing cases. Fair to say that each one of them would deserve the final prize, but only one can get it. November 21st, that's the date that all the decisions will be made. So once again, good luck from our side. Hope you've enjoyed this series and knowing more about these initiatives, these projects, and these amazing people as well who are developing them. Take care.